Unspace. They really got to work on their fake sci-fi terms because that's
That's like bottom of the
that's
barrel.
just lame.
It's been through on space.
Too much energon.
Too much Energon, like this podcast.
The beasts are here, McLeod, for the gathering.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings, Megatron.
Then they'd better stay out of my way. Blah, 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 blah. Beast Wars once and for all.
Big time Gary himself.
Man, these things look like toys.
Max them all! Max them all!
Does that mean transform?
Titor, what have you done? I am transformed.
Sigma balls, Gary. No, not that. Ah! Yeah, well, welcome to another episode of Too Much Energon.
Yeah, well, this will be episode 118 of Too Much Energon, and I'm the Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm NeoCal, your other host.
This week on Too Much Energon, we are once again traveling back in time to not quite as far this time. I think the next one we recorded, it would have been early 2022, because I know there was a period of time early last year where we recorded a bunch of Too Much Galavar episodes like in quick succession.
Yeah.
And this time we actually from this episode onward there's video. There's a video component to it.
How dare.
So you get to if you're watching on YouTube, which, well, no one really does, but if you're watching on YouTube, you'll actually be seeing us and not just a blank white screen, which is a thing that's happening because of a glitch in the
Matrix.
yeah, that's right, that's it. Glitch in the program that I'm using. It doesn't like AVI files with still images for some reason.
I blame the Decepticons.
Yeah, it's definitely them. Predacons, Gremlins, Terrorcons.
Ooh, Terrorcons.
Oh, actually, just before recording, me and Cal were talking about throwing around ideas for movies for Too Much Commentary over on patreon.com/lasercomb. We should do Gremlins too.
You know what? People are familiar enough with Gremlins 1. There's no reason to do Gremlins 1.
No.
Gremlins 2, though.
Gremlins 2 is a fucking bananas movie.
Yes, we're doing Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
It had to have happened.
I'll put that on the poll, and hopefully people vote for it. Anyway,
if not, it's going on it next time.
It'll just keep going on until it eventually wins, or we just decide fuck it and do it anyway.
We did that with what kept losing, and then we ended up doing it anyway. I don't know, one of the many we've done it for.
Yeah, I think it might have been Mortal Kombat. I kept putting it on the polls, but then we just decided, and it never won, but we just decided to do it eventually anyway.
What a fun movie.
Yeah. And I had never seen it prior to doing that commentary track.
Oh, shit. Right.
Anyway, without further ado, we're jumping into Rufus's time-traveling phone booth and heading back to last year.
Too much energon.
Well, some news came out recently that IDW Publishing actually lost the publishing rights to the Transformers comic book.
Oh,
So our favorite Beast Wars comic, released in 2021, will be coming to an end in June of 2022 with issue 17. So when that news broke, I was like, well, this podcast now officially has a shelf life to it. So why not just hunker down and get the ball rolling and finish this baby up?
That's right.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah,
talking about
it's been a while since we've recorded something when I am like, hey, should we do Too Much Galavar?
remember that Beast Wars comic book podcast we did?
I could
No.
have swore Scorponok wore a hat that said coach in, in one of them.
Okay, so when I went back a couple hours ago at the time of recording, when I went back and reread through issue 10, I felt like we had talked about it before.
I
So
swear, right?
So I went into the podcast feed and looked what the latest issue was that we talked about. So I'm like, man, we must have just had a conversation about this issue off air or something.
Same. I'm like, I swear we actually discussed this and talked
Spec-
about, but
Specifically Scorponok and his fucking coach hat.
I guess we just it was just in passing.
Just in passing, just in
Mhm.
preamble. It's probably
Yeah.
in some preamble out there somewhere that no one's listened to.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's out there. Go find it on patreon.com/lasercom. So yeah, we're talking about issue 10 of IDW's Beast Wars comic book, Maximal Strike Back, Part 1 of 3, apparently.
Oh,
When was this issue? When was this issue even published? Ages ago now. It was published.
it's been 84 years.
Close. It came out November 24th
Close.
of 2001.
So basically, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, time of recording, it is currently April of 2022. As you'll be able to see on
We're
the
right on top of this shit.
we're right on top of this shit. You'll be able to see the date stamp on the episode in your podcast provider of choice, because I'm not wasting any time. This baby's getting uploaded right away after we finish recording.
There we go.
Yeah.
So what do we got for the Maximals going on the offense here? A lot of Maximals say some Maximal bullshit at the beginning.
Yeah, so I would just like to point out that my favorite artist is back for this issue.
I'm glad that you pointed it out because I wanted to remind you. Anybody familiar with the show? The last few issues have had kind of an OG like style to it, and Siege really liked that.
Yeah, a much more traditional comic book art style.
But it opened with the first I want to say 6, 7 issues were this artist here, a very stylized. I think you said it was kind of like anime-ish.
The art style specifically reminds me of the show Transformers Animated,
Yes.
which we covered a couple of episodes of on our main Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon, for our holiday special. This past Christmas, we covered a two-parter of Transformers Animated, because they were literally the only Christmas-themed episodes in Transformers anything. So I'm like, well, I want to talk about Transformers and Christmas. Yeah, right?
And we dug it.
Yeah, we dug it. And I even liked the art style in that show, but I don't like it in this comic. So I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know how to describe it. It's very pointy.
Very pointy.
It's very pointy.
If anyone is listening to this, they undoubtedly have read the comic book, or at least seen the artwork. So you know what we're talking about when we say it's pointy.
Yeah, but this current artist for issue 10 onwards, they did the first half dozen. They changed artists for a few issues, and then they brought this one back. I wonder why? Like scheduling issues, or
probably to keep the book on a monthly schedule.
that's what I'm wondering. Josh Burcham, and written by Eric Burnham. I almost thought it was Josh Burnham, and I was like, is he getting his brother?
Eric and Josh.
Eric
Burnham and Josh Burcham.
Yeah.
That is quite a duo in terms of naming conventions.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I suspect, because like Josh Burcham, typically in comics, the artist has several issues in the can before they start releasing it. So he probably had, at least by the time the comic first started coming out, he probably had at least the first 3 issues already done up.
Right.
So as those were coming out on a monthly basis, he would have been able to draw the rest of them. And then for the next arc, they switched artists to give him time to finish up to do all the art for the following story arc. And indeed, because I've read ahead, like I've read all the way up to.
Did they switch back and forth?
They switch back and forth. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. It's probably for scheduling reasons, right? Like these people are professionals. But I kind of like that. I like it when one series actually changes art styles multiple times. I can't list anything like off the top of my head, but there was one series I read back in the late 2000s. I couldn't remember what it was. Punisher? No, it was something else. But it had gone through, there were 18 issues, but 4 different artists.
See, I actually like more consistent. I like the artwork to be consistent, except when it's the artwork of Josh Burcham here, because well, no, I've actually seen his work in other comics, and he's fine. His art's fine. I just don't like the style. So, Josh, I want to apologize. I'm not trying to slag your art, you as an artist. I just don't like the stylistic choice you made here.
Yeah. He appreciates you. Friend of the show.
Yeah, undoubtedly listening to this right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the issue opens with Gary Primal standing on the bridge of the Axelon, and he basically tells the Maximals that he's tried to be overly cautious since they crash landed on planet Energon, and that he wanted to keep them safe, keep within the Axelon and with the energy shields up, safe from danger, while they waited for Cybertron to come through time and rescue them. How Cybertron would just know exactly where to travel in time to rescue them, who knows?
And they addressed that on Beast Wars, the mainframe entertainment show from the 90s, because they try to send out a satellite signal to a probe that's looking for them, that's passing by the planet.
I mean, I guess they could probably
a signature when you blast through it leaves.
I was gonna say maybe they can track a transwarp signature of the Predacon ship.
Right. They talked about it last. It's been a few months. It's been a hot couple of cycles.
It's been several months. We
been
recorded
at least one entire Sunday afternoon.
We recorded the last episode of this podcast 4 or 5 months ago, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we're catching up. But yeah, that's what it is. They can trace the transwarp signal through space and time. They got this shit.
Yeah, so Gary was like, well, so yeah, I was trying to be cautious, but you know what? Fuck that. And then he starts killing the time, or singing "The Time to Kill Is Now" by Cannibal Corpse. Or rather, Dinobot starts singing that.
There we go.
Good song.
And yeah, there's bickering back and forth, but basically it's but they won't expect it, which is why we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Fair.
We get a little bit of backstory here that I kind of appreciated, because Rat Trap is grilling Dinobot, wanting to know what the dealio is about with the golden disc and everything. And Dinobot's like, well, Gary over there already knows I filled him in. And Rat Trap's like, yeah, but you didn't tell us, motherfucker. And Dinobot is like, you're right. I didn't. That's a terrible Dinobot impression. Terrible Dinobot impression. Those guys on Twitter will love us.
Mm-hmm.
Will love it.
Who undoubtedly, definitely, absolutely will be listening to this.
Oh, 100%. Just for a little bit of context, we had some people like on Twitter say they really liked our main Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon. They really liked it, but they hated the terrible impressions that we did, and that we should bring them onto our show so they can do it properly. It's actually made me lean into making my impressions worse. I gotta be honest, like actually trying to make them even worse.
It wasn't like, hey, how's it going? It was like, hey, you guys are great and all, but it was like they pulled a Kanye and like plugged themselves while saying that we were terrible. And
Yeah.
it's just a weird like intro. It's like, oh, hi. Yeah. Nice to meet you too. We're not really trying to go for accurate impressions.
Yeah,
Anybody
yeah.
familiar with like Too Much Energon? They've like devolved into like caricatures,
Just absolute madness.
which is more fun.
Yeah,
Like we're
totally.
not voice actors trying to like convince and oh, have you guys seen this Beast Wars like podcast? Oh, it's terrible. But I only listen because of the amazing impressions they do.
Yeah, yeah,
I
we're not auditioning for like the next chapter of War for Cybertron here.
I mean, but maybe we should.
I mean, maybe we should. Maybe
Did
we
you
should
hear some of those guys?
maybe we should yeah, right. Maybe we should like redo the voices of uh we should re-record ourselves should re-record War for Cybertron Kingdom with and like go full on like Trucker Rhinox and everything.
Or like an issue of this? You I you know I know you're kidding, but like maybe we should.
Maybe for the last issue of this comic, which will be issue 17, we can actually just do a reading of it.
I kind of dig that. Yeah, deal. There we go.
All right, listeners, keep an eye out for that. That'll be sometime later this year. So anyway, so Dinobot starts filling him in, and I kind of appreciate this because we get a little bit of backstory about how the Maximals actually happened upon the Golden Disc, which is
Mhm.
something on Too Much Energon, watching through the Beast Wars cartoon, something I always wondered about. It's like how did the Decepticons even get their hands on it to begin with?
How'd they get their hands on it? Why did the Maximals even have it?
Yeah.
It's just a mysterious artifact that they stole. Yeah.
Yeah, so according to Dinobot, there was a Energon mining station on an asteroid, and an Earth satellite crashed on it. It would have been the Voyager probe that had the golden disc on it, and the disc was coated in something called, what is it? Unspace.
It went through
Something called unspace, which tells them basically that this thing has traveled through time multiple times over.
It's like unspace. Well, isn't unspace like solid matter?
Yeah.
I so what, it like flew through a cloud of mashed potatoes? Like like space is when there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like most people, when they think of space, they think of the near vacuum that makes up most of the universe. So like unspace is what? Ionized gas? A planet? Did it go through fluid space? Does it taste
Fluid
like
space.
soup? Does the Voyager probe taste like soup?
Wait, did it go through it's named Voyager. Maybe it did go through fluidic space and encountered species 8472.
Lipton chicken noodle soup. Oh, careful. You're going to get the video removed from YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want context for that, listen to episode 28 of the Lasercomb podcast. We haven't recorded it yet, but I intend to go into getting attacked by YouTube's copyright cops merely for referencing Star Trek. Who knows? Maybe
No
this video
audio.
will. Maybe this video will too. We'll see.
Fluidic space, baby. We've said it 3 times now. So on space.
I like how one of these scientists is I think it's Wheeljack, the one in the middle. We see three scientists. One of them kind of looks like Rhinox.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that just Rhinox?
The one in the middle looks like Wheeljack, and I don't know who the one on the right is.
Some sort of aqua.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
She kind of looks like what a mermaid. They're cool. They're neat looking.
Yeah.
Does kind of look like Wheeljack though, the ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rhinox, Wheeljack, and Aquamarine. There we go, because I'm feeling creative today. Are doing up a science. And
about as creative as Unspace.
They're doing up a science, and out of the shadows, fucking like mustachioed villain.
Very shady looking transformer. This guy's obviously a Predacon.
Yeah, you look at like this guy, and it's just like, this is a trustworthy face. He's got like a crooked nose and a fucking pencil mustache. Fucking Gomez Adams looking motherfucker.
I didn't realize the mustache before. Holy shit.
I don't, have we seen that before outside of the one in particular, Alpha
Trion.
Alpha Trion's got like a sweet Fu Manchu or something, right?
I guess Unicron kind of does too.
Oh yeah, right. Unicron.
Oh, and I think Cyclone, or not Cyclonus, one of the other Scourge, one of the other one of Galvatron's cronies that got reformatted by Unicron in Transformers the movie. Scourge has like a kind of a Fu Manchu thing going on.
They look pretty Mongolian.
Yeah.
Changed over to the Unicronians.
Yeah.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Anyway.
The Galvatronics.
Unicron and the Galvatronics.
I'm writing that down.
Check out the new hit single from Unicron and the Galvatronics.
I dig that. One day. All right, but yeah,
the Billboard Top 100 hit. Don't eat my moon, baby.
Don't eat my moon. And their upcoming single, Unspace tastes like like chicken noodle soup. Fucking Unspace, man. Anyways, moving on. So the Voyager probe tastes like soup. It goes through Unspace
because of the Unspace.
The more they lick it, the more high they get, and they invent fucking subspace transwarp stuff because of like ancient human probe.
Yeah, a probe from like a probe with a literally a gold record, like phonographic disc from a satellite launched in the 60s, gives the Maximals the ability to invent transwarp. But it's been going...
Seems legit.
It seems legit. But it's been going through time, so who knows. Anyway, so this douchebag scientist is like, oh, this is marvelous data. The world needs to know. And the rest of the scientists are like, nah, we should probably keep this classified. This is not public information. And so the douchey scientist is like, I have to get that information out. Can you help me? And then just in an alley, we see our pal Megatron being like, why, yes, you need help? Here I am.
I hang out in dirty alleys waiting for people to ask me for help. You rang?
Yeah. It's like, so he's just fucking standing there while this guy
is... one of Megatron's cronies. He's like Megatron hiding behind a fucking dirty dumpster, like in this like random ass alley. Looks pretty cyberpunk though. Like I kind of want a Cybertron comic. And he's like, tell me more. Tell me more.
The next hit
What is-
single from Unicron and the Galvatronians.
Unicron and the Galvatronics.
Oh, Galvatronics. My bad.
And we know the Voyager probes were sent like 77,
Oh, okay.
just so that people don't think that we're talking out our butt.
Even though I clearly was. I thought they were launched in like 68 or 69, but my bad.
Nice. Well, the moon landing was 69. Nice. But the
Yeah.
Voyager probe launch was September 5th, 1977.
Remember the 5th of September. The
That's a good
Voyager,
way.
the Voyager launching and probe.
Yeah, rolls off the tongue.
I
So-
can think of no reason the golden disc should ever be remiss.
Well, that's
Hey!
not bad. There we go. There's some of the lyrics from our hit single, Unspace Chicken Soup for the Cybertronian soul. You know, like the more we just talk about bullshit, it's usually because there's not a lot going on in whatever we're reviewing,
Yeah.
but those end up being more fun.
Yeah. There's
Trust me, we're making this seem real interesting.
we're making this much more interesting than the comic actually is.
Besides Megatron coming out of a dirty how long has he been there? Does he just hang out there? Also, not one of his cronies, Megatron himself.
Why this is where I
Galvatron. He has a
Galavar.
himself.
Galavar.
Galavar.
Why I live here. Yes.
Yeah,
The rental market is insane on Iacon right now.
Do you know how much money I'm saving by living in a dumpster? 2,400 a month plus amenities. I just use the restaurant's Wi-Fi. I shower at the YMCA. Yes.
Fun to stay there, don't you know?
Oh,
Oh God.
so it's canon.
This is all canon now.
Yeah, Galavar.
This is already the
reason
best.
it-
This is already the best
uprising-
episode of Too Much Galavar.
The reason there was a Predacon uprising and the stealing of the golden disc is because of the Iacon housing crisis. Dinobot, search within your heart. You know that paying over 2,000 in rent is preposterous. Those Maximals ask for too much. Yes.
Hitting close to home.
Yeah. Does it sound like we're being oddly specific with
Yeah.
the uprising here?
Uh,
But okay, so what's going on here? There's a lot of text windows.
what we need to do here in Victoria is just yell out "Enter the dragon."
Replace all the punch Nazi protest signs with punch landlords.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Although in my defense, my landlords are pretty cool.
There's a few,
Or not in their defense.
yeah, there's a few that not mine, but they're out there. So what's going on? Oh, right. Rat Trap goes up and he smacks a shuttle and he's like, this baby can get you there in like 2 clicks.
So Gary explains that that they're going to be going on the offensive now, and that he basically explains that they want to cripple the dark side and take the Predacons captive so they can take them back to Cybertron and make them stand trial. And I'm like, the dark side is the transwarp capable ship. Why don't you take the dark side and fly it back to Cybertron instead of disabling it?
Silence. You are not the ideas, man. The funny thing is, like, most of the Predacons aren't on the ship. So when
Yeah.
they do their little sneaky snake mission later, kind of seems like they could. And as we've seen, Dinobot was like he's not anymore. They probably changed it, but he could like voice command. He was still like the security engineer, and they never like changed his admin password.
Yeah, they
Remember when
did.
he was like, doors close?
Yeah, they weren't all like sign out of all devices and change password.
So I mean, if things had gone differently, they could have absolutely like Grand Theft Auto'd this fucking ship and been
Yeah.
like, bye.
See you later, fuckers.
But instead they're like, let's hide behind the shield, I guess, until they're not.
So they're like, yeah, so the Maximals are like, yeah, so how are we gonna get there? And Gary Primal is like, aha, we have a shuttle. And I'm like, cool.
Cool story, bro. What happened in the good old days when you all just went into beast mode and fucking ran there?
Right? What I did find funny though was Rat Trap is like, hey, wow, I had a buddy that turned into one of these things. That isn't
Oh.
you, is it? That isn't you, is it, Box? That made me chuckle because it's like that. I mean, that is actually like a situation you could potentially run into in the world of Transformers.
Yeah. One of the bigger in the world of Transformers, one of them is a train and a space shuttle.
Yep.
Astro
Train.
Astro Train. Yeah, I was literally just Astro Train. Yeah, I could have made up a name, probably would have been right. Yeah, he's a train, but like he can also just like
Go into
shoot
a
off
shuttle.
into space, and all of the Decepticons fit inside him.
Yeah, and he
So-
does that. He does that classic G1 mass shifting thing. So like when he's in robot mode, he's the same size as the rest of them, but when he's in shuttle or train mode, he's big enough for them to like ride inside of him. Much like how Megatron is
Just
like
turns into a Luger.
just turns into a gun that can be held by Starscream, even though when he's in robot mode, he's bigger than Starscream,
Imagine how heavy that gun is.
right?
Yeah, they can just change mass.
Yeah, the logistics of transforming in G1 is a little hokey pokey.
Maybe all of the energy, because that gun is kind of like a golden gun. When you get shot by like Megatron, like when he's in that pistol mode, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, well, in Transformers the movie, like Starscream was one shot killing all the Autobots on that
Flat
shuttle
out
that they
dead, yeah.
hijacked. Yeah, fucking dead. Man, I admire how bold that movie was in being just like, listen up, 7-year-olds. You know all those Transformers you like? Watch them fucking die right before your eyes. Like holes blown right into them, like smoke. They're not skin, not flesh, but like their shell,
Bodies.
like their bodies like turning gray right away, and like the life going right out of their eyes as they fall down dead. Like it's surprisingly brutal.
It's very brutal. Yeah, they've got enslavement, they've got rebellion, they got death. They've got a child potentially watching his father like being dropped into a vat of acid. It's everything.
Yeah. Anyway, so to
Oh,
get
the
back
training session, right?
to get back to the comic, so they jump in this shuttle and they go off flying. They get like a Dinobot gives them like a debrief of, or Gary like talks about whatever. They say some bullshit on this shuttle as they're on the way to the
The
dark
scorpion one is called Scorponok. The pterodactyl one is called Pterosaur. The T-Rex one is called
Yeah.
Rexinator.
It's called T-Rex. T-WRECKS.
Now you're can you tell he knows his Transformers?
That is actually the name of a Beast Wars era Transformer. It was a Maximal that was a redeco of Megatron.
Oh. shows what I know. Yeah, so they're all on board, including the Iron, who's the pig dude? We like Transformers, we swear, guys.
Razor Beast.
Razor Beast, right? I was unfamiliar with Razor Beast growing up because he's not on the show, and I didn't have a lot of the toys. But he seems legit.
Yeah, he was a fan favorite core class, or not core class, basic class size beast. One of the flippy ones.
Yeah, now we just need a meerkat. We can have Timon and Pumbaa like jokes.
Yeah,
I actually like Razor Beast in the comics so far.
So the training session you mentioned, Scorponok is like wearing a fucking baseball cap that says coach on it.
I love this so much. I love it so much. And he calls Pterosaur an idiot.
Yeah, so he's trying to he's training, getting Pterosaur and Waspinator to like spar, basically, to like freshen up their fighting skills to deal with the Maximals.
Yeah, and it's like, but and Pterosaur is like, what are you talking about? Like, these ones are pushovers.
Yeah.
And Scorponok is basically like, yeah, but when we return to Cybertron, we're not going to be fighting like scientist like Maximals.
We're not going to be fighting
like soldiers.
We're not going to be fighting these losers over here.
Yeah.
We're going to be fighting like legit Maximals when we get back to Cybertron.
So like, take this seriously, bitch. And he's like, use your brain, Pterosaur.
And Pterosaur like gets all mad and is like, oh, I'm sick of all of this. You know, fuck Megatron. Megatron sucks. Like, all he's doing is just like jerking off, like watching his fucking like golden CD over there, his golden CD-ROM.
I should be in charge.
Watching his porn collection on his golden CD-ROM over there.
I don't waste all day edging. I just fap and get it over with.
and then get back to being a real Predacon.
2 minutes flat. And of course, Megatron's standing behind him.
Yeah,
as he's saying this, he's like,
that trope
really,
right
Pterosaur? Yeah, it happens on the show a lot too. I had no idea that you were the sort of visionary who deserved command. By all means, tell us more.
And
go on, whip it out.
Demonstrate your skills. Yes.
You said 2 minutes flat. I challenge you.
I challenge you to a fap-off for leadership of the Predacons. Anyway, they end up fighting in beast mode, which is kind of cool. It doesn't go on as long as it should.
Absolutely execute. It goes on a long time. Yeah, like 2 pages. He goes to execute Pterosaur, and
of all people,
Tarantula saves his life.
Yeah, of all people, Tarantula Man intervenes by encasing him in some weird floating bubble shield thing.
And Megatron's like, ooh, huh?
Yeah, Megatron's like, ooh, how dare you? Now enter the dragon. And
it's like, don't be so dramatic, buddy.
Yeah.
And he's like, Pterosaur still has his tactical uses. We can never have enough flyers.
Yeah, we need soldiers, you know.
We can't underestimate the enemy just yet. So like he's problematic, but let's keep him around.
Which is actually the same line of thinking that Dinobot shared when he briefly rejoined the Predacons in season 2 of Beast Wars, and Megatron wanted him to kill Quickstrike. Dinobot was like, he learned his lesson, and it's also you know, we need as many able bodies as we can. So it wouldn't be tactically sound to kill him.
I agree.
I agree completely.
But also we like Pterosaur. He's kind of more of a dick in this.
He is more of a dick, yeah.
He's kind of just like a mischievous scamp on the animated Beast Wars. But in this, he's like an actual bully for some reason.
Yeah, we've talked about it before on the show, but like the characterizations are off. Or different?
Yeah, they're going some places. It balances out for me because I really like true to the cause, like Coach Scorponok. So
Scorponok.
yeah, Eric Burnham giveth Coach Scorponok.
Scorpa coach.
Scorpa coach. There we go. Yeah, Eric Burnham giveth and he taketh.
A quote for the ages.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, back to the little shuttle.
So the shuttle, Dinobot is like, oh, I made some special modifications to the ship, and he presses a button and a bunch of fucking missiles fly out.
And I'm like, when, bro? Like, didn't you guys all just
Find out about the
leave?
shuttle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Fine, whatever.
Black Arachnia is suddenly there with the sparring trio.
I guess she was the whole time.
I guess she was there the whole time.
Yeah,
she kind of just suddenly shows up. And so they get blasted by the
it's a comical scene because she's like, what's that sound? And Pterosaur's like, I didn't hear anything. And Waspinator's like, I do. That sounds familiar.
Everybody down now.
And Waspinator saves, he grabs Scorponok and Black Arachnia and like jumps down onto the ground, right?
Yeah.
Not Pterosaur. Specifically, he's like, oh, fuck that guy. And so he
can fly too.
Yeah, and so he kind of like
every flyer down. For himself.
But also there can be only one. And Waspinator's like, was anybody damaged? And I'm like, is Waspinator even cooler in this comic?
Right.
Like he's saving bros, he's smart. He's like, hit the deck. I'm digging him so far.
Scold shows up and is like, what happened?
It's like, where were you? And they're like, what do you think happened, idiot? Stupid moron, we're being attacked.
And Gary shows up with his like big like swords and is like, all right, fuckos, where's Megatron?
That's a cool panel.
It is, yeah.
I love that.
That would have been good cover art, honestly.
Oh, I'm gonna jump back. What is the cover art here? Oh, the cover art is on them on the shuttle.
Yeah.
They don't actually ride the shuttle like that, but it's good cover art.
Yeah.
I like him with the swords though. That's a good one.
A good shot. All right. That was issue 10 of I almost said issue 10 of Too Much Galavar. That was issue 10 of IDW's 2021 Beast Wars comic book. Here on Too Much Galavar, we follow our rating system from our main Beast Wars podcast, Too Much Energon, the Too Much Energon scale. It ranges from not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon to too much Energon. It's basically bad, okay, good. Cal, what are you giving issue 10 of Beast Wars on the TME scale?
Coach Scorponok gets like a lot of points from me, but nothing happens. Like a lot of, but we also get, again, I feel like we make ourselves enjoy it more when we discuss it and make jokes.
We're not saying we elevate the material here, but we kind of elevate the material.
I like the Predacon banter, but before that, it's just an information dump. Coach Scorponok elevates it to a sufficient amount of Energon.
I'm with you there. I like the Coach Scorponok bit, and I like the little bit of backstory regarding the Golden Disc, despite Unspace being a thing. So I'm also going with a sufficient amount of Energon.
Sweet.
Too much Energon.
And we're back in the present of 2023. It's that simple. We along the way we encountered ourselves from yesterday, and I told myself to make sure that I remember to wind my watch.
And
I
then
still forgot
you, in
anyway.
the past, looked at your watch and you're like, "But Christopher, it's a smartwatch."
But Siege, it's an Apple Watch. You don't need to wind those in the future. Oh.
But aren't you me from the future?
Yeah, that's how I know that, Siege. Oh. Oh, folks, we literally just did a commentary track for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
It was
Which, if you
quite
want-
excellent.
If you want to hear that, go to patreon.com/lasercomb. And anyway, that was episode 117 of Too Much Energon. As I mentioned, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/lasercomb, where you get a bunch of cool exclusive stuff for only $5 a month. And yeah,
Yeah,
you wanna
like
get
us
in on that?
talking about movies with doppelgangers.
yeah, the Super Lasercomb Patreon Super Show, our former, it's a show that's been retired now, but we had a news and current events program, Lasercomb Tonight. They're all on there. There's like 38 of them, which I don't know, maybe we'll revisit that at some point. Commentary tracks, as I mentioned, all for a mere $5 a month at the single $5 Gary tier.
That's right.
Patreon.com/lasercomb. Follow me on Twitter at Lasercomb, spelled the same way. You can follow the show proper at Too Much Energon. Cal, they can follow you at.
Follow me at NeoCal, NEO_KAL.
We'll be back next week with episode 119 of Too Much Energon, where we're going to be talking about the next issue of the IDW 2021 Beast Wars comic. And until then, I've been the Siege, one of your hosts.
And I'm Cal, your other host.
Thanks for listening, and stay beastly.
Stay beastly. Or not. You can also stay transmutate.
You can
We love you no matter what you stay as.
Yeah, stay
is what we're
beastly,
saying.
stay primal, stay frosty, stay. Won't you? Won't. Fuck. I think there's a song by Oingo Boingo called "Stay." I was gonna try and work that in, but I'm blanking on it right now. Anyway, bye bye.
Bye.
Beast Wars!